In this video, I'll introduce the new Beas Analytical Insights, a set of dashboards for Beas manufacturing using the Boyum app dashboards functionality. The maintenance dashboard is a tool for you to understand all the results related to industrial maintenance. You also have a time range filter on the top that have much more parameters than the previous ones because this one allows you to do forecasts of data, as we are going to see during the explanation of this dashboard. On the top of the dashboard, we have three reports that are categories, statuses, and types. Here we can see the basic grouping for all the different kinds of maintenance orders and maintenance scenarios that will allow you to understand in a glance in which categories, statuses, or types you are having the highest costs and allow you to filter for all the data that will be displayed on this dashboard. For example, if you want to know all the resources that went to corrective maintenance, you can just click on corrective. Then here on maintenance cost overview, you'll see a list of all the resources that had corrective maintenance and the cost for each one of them. Also here you can see the total cost for corrective maintenances. Then you have inside the corrective maintenance orders that are planned to be done, already closed, and in work. If you want to see only the ones that are in work, you can click on in work and see the list of corrective maintenances that are in work at this moment. Inside the orders in work, you have two types of maintenances. There are maintenance applied to resources and to customer equipment. If you only want to see maintenance on resources, you can click on resource and see the resources that are now being worked on corrective maintenance. You can also do different kinds of filtering. For example, instead of selecting categories and statuses first, you want to know all the number of preventive maintenance orders that we have for resources. Then you click on resource and you see that the number of orders will update here. You can click on preventive and the statuses will also update, allowing you to select preventive orders that are in work, closed, or planned. Whenever you have corrective maintenance, you're also going to see the corrective maintenance reasons. If you select corrective, select a reason for maintenance, for example, broken resource. This will detail all the resources that were stopped for that specific reason, enabling you to, in one single click, drill down the resources that share the same reasons for corrective maintenance. If instead of clicking on the reports on the top and on the corrective reasons, you click on one specific resource, you can also see the different details for it. For example, clicking on this machine, we can see on the top the number of corrective and preventive orders that we have for it, the different statuses of the orders. We can see that it has 5 maintenance orders that are in work and 114 that are planned as preventive and also corrective maintenance. We can see that this is a resource and see the global costs that we had for its maintenance and all the corrective maintenance reasons that were registered for this specific resource. So if you want to know what are the reasons that are making this resource to fail, you can quickly take a look on here. On the bottom, you have 3 sub-reports that you can open. There are maintenance materials, failures over time, and completed orders. Maintenance materials will show you all the materials required for maintenance or that have been used for maintenance. If you look at orders that are planned and not yet created as maintenance orders, you are going to see the planned materials for that maintenance. Now, if you look on orders that are already created as maintenance orders that can be planned in work or even closed maintenance orders, we can see the materials linked to the maintenance orders. So if you see, for example, corrective maintenances, you can see the components that the technicians have selected when performing the maintenance for the specific resource, tool, or equipment. This report will tell you the components and their descriptions, the lead times for each one of the components, the purchased amount at this moment for the components, the stock currently on hand, the planned quantity to be consumed on maintenance, and on the planned quantity we also have an icon that will tell you if the stock on hand is or is not enough to cover the quantity planned to be consumed in maintenance. The calculations of quantities to be consumed from stock will only take into account the maintenance orders that are planned or in work. The closed maintenance orders will not be taken into account to calculate the materials needed from stock. You can see cases in which the planned quantity is greater than the stock, but the icon is green, meaning that you don't need to consume that much from stock because you have inside the planned quantities amounts belonging to maintenance orders that are closed. If you don't want to display that value inside the planned quantities value, you can just select the in work and the planned statuses using control and not selecting the closed one. Then all the planned quantities will reflect quantities that are still to be consumed. The stock check will only be based on the stock on hand. The purchased amount will not be used to calculate the available stock. So if you have planned quantity greater than the stock on hand, this dashboard will display you a red icon like in this case. If you do have purchased amount, the icon will still be red because only the stock on hand will be used as base for comparison. The purchased amount is just an indicator for the person that is looking at the dashboard. The Maintenance Materials dashboard also enables you to understand which equipment share a specific component. For example, if you want to know all the equipment that use maintenance parts in their maintenance orders, you can just click on maintenance parts. And the report maintenance cost overview will be updated to only detail equipment that use that specific component. Now clicking on failures over time, we can see a chart that will display all the corrective maintenance orders that were created for the equipment over time. We can see each one of the months, the code of the equipments, and the number of corrective maintenance orders created for them. Here, only corrective maintenance orders are displayed. We are not going to see preventive or predictive maintenance orders. This is a chart just for you to understand the failure behavior of a specific equipment. If you want to know the failure behavior of this specific resource, you can just click on it and see the months in which this resource had fails and the amounts of fails per month. If you click on one of the months, you can see that all the detail here on the dashboard will be updated to reflect this selection that you have done here. Which other equipment failed at this month as well, the reasons for failing, the categories, statuses, and types of the maintenance orders. For example, we can see that we have 3 that are in work and 1 that is still planned, not in work, and that all are related to resources. And also the costs related to the maintenance process. How much we have of planned costs and how much we have actually consumed in terms of materials and labor. Then we also have the completed orders reports. That contains 2 different reports. One that is a technician's report and other one that is a notes report. The technicians will show all the technicians that completed maintenance orders. If you have a group of technicians that works on the machines and you want to know which resources had their maintenance performed by a specific technician, you can just click on that technician and see the resource list here. Then you also have the notes that are the notes that the technicians inform when completing the maintenance orders. If you wish to know all the equipment that had their maintenance solved by replacing the valves, you can just click here on valves replaced and see that the data will update to reflect the different equipment that had its maintenance solved by replacing the valves and the materials that were employed when replacing the valves. Now we can clear the futures, and you can see that we also have one report and one chart on this dashboard as well. The chart that we see here on the top will show the representations of material and labor over the actual costs for the selected futures. If we don't select any future, then we see the total actual costs that we have at this moment for all the different maintenances that we have performed. And if we want to know that total value, we can see here on the report on the bottom. The report on the bottom will also detail the cost, but in numbers, and also showing values for the planned costs. The total actual costs had this amount that we can see how much were of material and how much were labor, and we can see their graphical representations and percentiles here on the chart. I have not selected any futures, so this is for my entire maintenance processes. If I want to know, for example, how much I had of costs for performing maintenance on resources, I can click on resources and see that this will only reflect data for resources. The planned amount also includes preventive maintenance orders for the future. If I don't want to see them, I only want to see the ones that are in work or closed, I can select them here and see the planned costs for my maintenance orders in work or closed compared to the total cost for executing that maintenance. If I want to see this detail by component, I can also use the maintenance materials report and see the list of components. Now, I also mentioned that we can use this report to forecast components required for maintenance, and we can do that by using the time range futures that we have on the top. We can see for the next 7 days the materials that we are going to require. In my case, I don't have any maintenance planned for the next 7 days. For the next month, I have 3 preventive orders on the next month, one for a tool, one for a resource, and another one for a customer equipment. Those are the costs for each one of them. Those are the materials that I'm going to require. I see that one, for example, I miss in stock, so I need to purchase. And this is the total cost for all the different maintenances that I have for the next month. Now for the next quarter, I have 10 maintenance orders planned for the next quarter. And if I want to know how much I'm going to spend in materials in the next quarter, here I have the total amount. And also for the next year, this is the total amount that I'm planning to spend on materials on the next year. And this is the labor cost that I'm going to have related to times registered by the technicians. This comes from the bill of materials and the routings that we have defined for each maintenance plan.